Hi everyone. Today we'll look at the differences between QTS and QTS Hero. While both the operating systems from QNAP have the same look and feel, under the hood they are much different than each other, and they have different features. If you look at QTS, then QTS is the original operating system that QNAP designed, and it's a very lightweight operating system. It runs on even the entry-level machines. That's why you see many of the QNAP's low-end machines support only QTS. This uses ext4, so this has got the limitations as it can only do what ext4 has to offer. This is built on a Linux kernel, so unlike many other distros who would go with BSG for lighter images, QTS has decided to go with a full Linux kernel, same as QTS Hero. Hero, on the other hand, is a much heavier OS compared to QTS. It needs a capable machine, and it performs better when you have more RAM. This has got many enterprise features that we'll look at shortly. All those enterprise features are thanks to the fact that it uses ZFS, which has many advanced capabilities. This is built on Linux kernel as well. Now, before we go further, you have to remember that there is no direct migration path between QTS and QTS Hero. So, for example, if you have a QNAP that used to run QTS and which supports now QTS Hero, and you want to migrate, then you will have no other choice but to do a full reformat. So you will have to basically back up your data and then do a complete installation of the OS from the scratch. If you try to use a disk that was formatted in one operating system and try to use that disk into another operating system, that will fail also, because Hero cannot read any disk that was written by QTS, and this goes the other way around also. QTS cannot read any disk that was written by QTS Hero as well. On the network level, however, you can have two QNAPs which would have two different operating systems, and you will have no problem at all in setting up any job between those two, or discovering the network shares between the two. So that's not a problem. Now let's look at the features that Hero has. Hero has got many features that QTS doesn't have. First of all, since Hero runs on ZFS, it has got many additional features, like it has got self-healing. So whenever ZFS reads a file, it will be repairing the file as well. So if you have, let's say, any RAID label that is redundant RAID label, then ZFS will have a parity bit, right? So if it reads a file and finds that there is an error in the file, there is an inconsistent bit, it will recreate that bit from the parity data and write the file. You can also schedule such jobs. This is called data scrubbing. So you can scrub your data on schedule. So ZFS will look at your data and look for any inconsistencies and repair the inconsistencies if it finds any. On the RAID level, you have got some extra RAID levels. On QTS, you have RAID 0, 1, 5, and 6, which you will also see on Hero. But on Hero, you will see an extra RAID level called triple parity. So with triple parity, you have got 3 parity bits. So for example, with a 8 disk RAID, you will get 3 hard drive disk failure protection. And ZFS RAIDs are usually named differently. For example, there is a RAID level called RAID Z1, which is similar to RAID 5 in the sense that it has also got one parity bit and one hard drive failure protection. So what QNAP has done is they have decided to use the traditional RAID levels. So RAID Z1 is called RAID 5, RAID Z2 is called RAID 6, and so on. Triple parity, since there is no triple parity in QTS, so they have named triple parity as triple parity. In addition to these additional RAID levels, also remember that rates on ZFS are better because since it does a full journaling, there are no write holes on ZFS. Apart from that, Hero also has worm support, so you can create a share that is immutable. Worm stands for write once, read many. So you can have a share on which you can write data which will not be accessible to anybody for modifying. They can read it, but they will not be able to modify it or delete it. There are two modes. There is a flexible mode, which is the enterprise mode, and there is a much more strict compliance mode. In compliance mode, no matter whatever access levels you have, you will not be able to delete or modify the data. This is useful in many industries where you are required by law to keep an immutable copy. For example, a healthcare provider might be required to keep the patient records on this. And this can also be used by ransomware, so you can use it against ransomware rather. So since this is immutable, even if you are hit by ransomware, any copy that was worm copy will not be modified by ransomware. You also have data reduction on Hero. Let's look at them one by one. Uh, Compression runs at the file level, and this is a very lightweight compression. This uses LZ4 compression algorithm. This is fast and this is not resource hungry, so you get reduction in file size, and you also get better read write speeds as well. So compression can be enabled on Hero. You also have deduplication, which is inline. Deduplication runs at the block level, and it uses something called as a deduplication table. So basically a deduplication table has got a hash of all the blocks that are there in your pool, and anytime a new block is to be written, it will calculate the hash of that block, and not store the block, but use a pointer in case it finds that that block already exists. This is something that utilizes RAM. So QNAP Hero will disable it at times if there's no enough, if you don't have enough RAM in your system. So make sure that you have ample RAM to run inline deduplication. Apart from this, we also have compaction, which is not exactly a data reduction technique, but it is rather a way to optimize the number of blocks that your data occupies on disk. So let's say if you use 4K block size, then your data might be scattered in such a way that all the 4K blocks are not occupied properly. So you may have multiple 4K blocks which are partially filled. With the compaction, it will consolidate such partial blocks and ensure that the size on disk is reduced. So what you have compression, deduplication, compaction. All these three you can run. You don't have to run them system wide. You can run them on selective shared folders. So you might decide to use deduplication on one and not on the other. You also have the option to schedule the cleanup of deduplication table. So deduplication is more efficient. Apart from that, there are some additional features that I've decided to put on this last slide. You have SnapSync on Hero, which is not there on QTS. SnapSync is basically the copying of snapshot between two QNAPs that is very fast. So QNAP says that this is almost real time. So you can have two QNAPs which you can sync to sync in near real time on the block level. You have got something called as delegated administration. So with delegated administration, you can have a semi-admin who has some admin rights, but not all the admin rights. So let's say you want to have a user that you want to be able to run HBS jobs as admin. So you can make a user and give it only the admin rights for HBS and nothing else, right? So that's an admin for HBS, but not an admin for anything else. On Hero, you have this facility called delegated administration. On Hero, you also have 14 ACLs. So if you look at your QTS, you only used to have 3 ACLs. You used to have read only. You used to have read write, and you used to have full. Whereas in Hero, you have got 14 ACLs. So this is it about the features in the sense how Hero differs from QTS. In case it's about deciding between which operating system you should be using, it's obvious. It's a very easy choice to make. If your hardware supports Hero, then you should go with Hero because it has got so many additional features. If you decide to do so, then you should go with extra RAM. Invest in as much RAM as you can because this really boosts up the performance. Yeah. So this is all. These are the major differences between Hero and QTS. If you have any questions, as usual, please feel free to write in the comment box, and I will try to answer them as soon as I can. Thank you.